like I say, the answer was Tibet. Um, titanium went. Titanium came from 3 different places in the world at one point in time. One of those, or 2 of those mines, was in Tibet, way up in the mountains where it had been found. Like I said, I had been working with the Tibetan people and the British, and I had the first titanium mine ever found, or ever mined. Titanium. That's why I key in with China and the samurai swords, because I had the very, 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 very first titanium mine ever. Mostly because I was trying to work with the people just to get them to be able to live up there. I think there was a natural try. I don't know. It's very complicated. You know the one with the great big huge square or star-shaped buildings or whatever that are stacked up really high? Yeah. Those were the mines. Those were the 2 only titanium mines. It's found there. Also in Africa. Africa might have been the first mine. I forget, because there's tantalum and then there's titanium. So I get my metals mixed up. Like I said, I was very big with mining. I had steam mining equipment, so I did a lot of mining. And before that, they were doing hand mining. So anyway, like I said, to get the first jet engine, it took a lot of mining. And it took about 6 months or at least 2 years before they actually had enough to even build the first titanium jet fan, which was used for the Royal Air Force and the Vickers jet, which was built by the Rolls-Royce Merlin Engine Company. He said in an interview one time that he didn't really know how to build a jet, but he thought, well, yeah, I was like, just keep working on it until you do it. So, like I said, I actually did design the steam engine for the Titanic, but the 2 jet engines, the Rolls-Royce Merlin jet engine and the Titanic steam turbine engine, were actually developed separately from each other. They're like 2 different time-space things. There's the steam turbine engine, that was the Titanic, and then there's the Rolls-Royce Merlin engine, where I just basically anyway, he couldn't find the metal, of course. Nobody could find the metal, and the Tibetan people wouldn't give up the metal except to anyone except for me. So I was like, please, and they were like, yeah, sure, no problem. And I was actually working with them anyway about this other thing. They were the only people. I think they were Eskimos, or something like that, or they were Canadians or something. They came from the snowy country, so they knew how to survive in snow. So hired them, asked them, and they went up there and they were working on it and doing it. And they were, like I said, they built snow caves. They knew how to survive in snow. And it might have actually have some prehistoric thing to do with me and my snow caves. Like I say, I remember some prehistoric stuff where I had the only people that could actually survive or make a fire in a snow cave or an ice cave. Like, my people figured out how to build fire in an ice cave without melting the surrounding ice or causing a big lake or something like that. So it's kind of weird. It kind of goes back to prehistoric me or whatever. Like I said, technically people say that I've actually been leading humanity and been in existence since Aztecs or before, like the prehistoric period. Someone said, yeah, you go back to the prehistoric period. I was like, wow. Like, yeah, you've been leading humanity for a very, 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 very long time. So, anyway, yeah, so, because I remember that my people were the only people that could build a fire in a snow cave. Like my people had perfected building fires on ice. They could actually make a fire and actually cook meat and stuff in an ice cave. So, which was something that another tribe didn't know how to do back then. So I had my special group and they had their whatever group, and the 2 didn't really meet because they couldn't venture so far into the ice caves as mine. Mine just kind of hid up in there. I don't know where they got the wood. I think they were burning oil or something. They had found an oil or something like that. I don't really know. Tar, I think. I don't really know, to tell you the truth. I don't really remember that much about it. I just remember some basic details of things that were invented, things that my people could do that others couldn't, and that was a long, long time ago. So anyway, though, but apparently the Tibetan people would mine the titanium for me, and also the Tibetan people, I think, had a connection to the Chinese people, which also knew me. Like I said, a lot of different groups knew me from the past or knew me as something else, and they did things for me which allowed the first jet engines to be made. So I was the first to have jet engines. So anyway, and it also, it goes into technology. Anyway, like I say, it's one of those things where you just kind of like, you're like, whoa. It's like, yeah, well, I mean, it was a different kind of life for me, or a different time for me. I don't really know. It's a different kind of existence. I can't really explain a lot of it. Anyway, it goes back to who I was before or something like that. And that's kind of like why it gets kind of crazy and you start going, it's like, yeah, well, I don't know what to say. It's just the truth. I've been leading humans for a very long time. I guess they knew me as creator or something like that, or great something or other. And I was keeping them alive and making sure they survived and everything. And then we go into Tibet, and we're and I want to do the jet engines, and I've invented them finally, or whatever. And so they're mining for me and producing metal and stuff. And that's why Britain had the first, it's actually the Aryan nation or whatever. It's actually kind of like what America becomes, or America could become, or something like. It's something to do with my flight. Like originally, I had just given flight to America, had just had flight, and we became the Aryan Air Nation or whatever, and we went around the world, and we're on this planet when there was only a few thousand people or something like that, and we were very knowledgeable, and it's like Germany, America, and or something else, some sort of other kind of existence. It's almost like another timeline. And there's that, and I was leading people then, and then we get into present day and the future and everything else, and that's how, I mean, like I say, back in the old days, people knew me as God, I guess, or ruler, or Lucifer, the great inventor. So anyway, it's complicated, and has to do with a lot of things. So, and now it's like, well, I can't really explain it. I can't prove it. I can't help you to understand it. It might take you 100 million years to even understand it yourself, how it's even possible, and all that. But that's why I had jet engines and everything else like that. Plus, I wanted to do flight. So, and I had come up with the idea of the jet engine. And like I say, it took America even a couple of years even to figure out that it would work. Or just to get it to work. It took America quite a while. It only took Britain about 2 years, actually. Or the Rolls-Royce and Merlin Engine Company. He got German help or whatever. He was a very brilliant engineer himself, and was just like, well, okay, here you go, and built it or had it going in like 2 or 3 years, or a short period of time, basically. And then there was just manufacturing the titanium, which, as people know, it's very hard to work with and requires some really hot temperatures to get those fan blades. So Britain was doing that, and maybe they have help by somebody else. I'm not exactly sure. That's how you get the Volker's jet and everything else like that. That's how I have my own private jet aircraft. Like I said, the Volkers was actually originally a wooden jet, and they actually didn't have many problems because aluminum was actually really soft and actually kind of weak at first, and it melted too easily. It was basically just a skin covering almost. Better than the wood, but not much. More pliable than the wood, but not much better. Anyway, not nowhere near as strong either. I mean, the new aluminum was way better. That's why they had to reskin the Volkers and everything, and the Vulcan and all those other jets. Anyway, that was my Rolls-Royce Merlin Engine Company and my RAF plane company. So, anyway.